Hey cutie foodies, it's the one and only Sweet Pea here, and welcome back to my channel. Today we have another cooking mukbang for you, and we will be making baked apple strudel. It is not an apple pie, it doesn't have a pie crust at the bottom. You're gonna see what's going down. So feel free to look at me in my onesie because I have it on. I washed my ass today and that's all that matters. So we have our apples here. We just rinsed them off. We have an apple cutter and then we have our peeler as well. I went apple picking on a farm with my family, and that's where these apples came from. Overpriced if you ask me, but it is what it is. So we're just gonna peel them. You don't have to do this. You can simply just cut your apples up, but I'm not one that loves apple skin or any type of fruit skin. So there you go. So we're gonna peel all of these. This is actually a potato peeler. I have a whole bunch of these. That's why the brush is there, for you to like brush off the dirt or whatever. So we're gonna finish peeling and we'll be back when it's time to add the seasonings and everything like that. Alright, so we're back, cutie foodies. We have some of our apples here already. There we go. And you just remove the core. Try to push it through some more. This apple is huge. So see how big that was? It left a little ring at the bottom. So let's just push this out through this side. We don't need that sink. Okay, so I like to dice up my apples. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. And a little tip, if you are going to make this and cut your skin off, or peel your skin off rather, it's best to use the potato peeler, because if you use a knife, you're going to cut. If you want them smaller, then you can do it that way. It's up to you. And if you hear that racket in the background, that is Kobe, supposed to be watching his cartoon. You don't need to see too much in my bathroom. It's clean though. But I have my oven preheated. You can do 350 or 375. This is margarine. I usually use butter, but we're going to use butter for the topping. So we have some sugar, cinnamon, ground cinnamon, whole cloves, and some nutmeg. And this is just the way that I like it. You can just do the cinnamon and the sugar if you want. I like a lot of cinnamon, and you can do this to your taste. And the cloves. And you don't need a lot of these. This is fine. Just sprinkle it around. We'll do a couple more. This is going to give it some bite. And then our nutmeg. And our sugar. And I'm eyeballing all of this because, like I said, you do it to your specific taste. So if you don't want to use nutmeg or the cloves, don't use it. If you don't like a lot of cinnamon, don't put a bunch of cinnamon in there. If you don't like it extra sweet, don't use a bunch of sugar. But this amount should be good. Maybe it's like a cup and a half, 2 cups of sugar. And with clean hands, we're just gonna mix this all in. If you have any big sugar pieces like mine, just break it up. Oh, smells good already. And just flatten it out in the pan. into a bowl of my apple peel, so don't be alarmed. I'm just rinsing the sugar off of my hands. And we're going to take some of our margarine and we're going to place it on top of the apples. In the middle. And that should be good. And we're gonna bake this in the oven for about 15-20 minutes. And I'll bring you guys back with some butter when it's time to make our topping, and I'll show you how to do that. Alrighty, cutie cootie, so we're back. We have some flour, a stick of butter that is salted. You can use unsalted if you prefer. This is just a personal preference. So, and we also have our what the hell is this thing called? Food processor. So we're going to take about 2 pieces of our butter and we're going to cube it. And do it back here so you can see. And just cut it in 4 ways. I might do 4 of these. And FYI, my counter is clean, so don't at me because it'll be a problem. And 1 more piece. So we've used a half a stick of butter already. Put on our container. Try to put on my container. Yeah. Hands are slick from butter, so bear with me. Okay, and we're just going to pulse this on high. Gives you, let me see if I can get closer, a mixture that looks like that. Yes, I did just pick up my camera stand. But it gives you a mixture that looks like that. I am going to add in some cinnamon. And you don't need a lot because of the amount of cinnamon. Well, I don't need a lot because of the amount of cinnamon that I added to the apples. Add the rest of the flour and the butter. So depending on the size of your food processor, mine is a mini one, so I really don't have like a whole bunch of space to fill it up. I think it's like 2 cups or 2.5 cups. You can either leave it like this or cube it, but it's usually probably best to cube, even if you're like making biscuits and stuff like that, because it just makes it easier to incorporate the butter into the flour. That's my opinion. That ain't gonna work. My finger's starting to melt the butter. Alright. I'm gonna also add in some sugar And I have some oatmeal to put in here as well. Trying to film a video without you screaming my government and people could hear you. My mother rude. Alright, so I'm going to polarize this again. I'll bring you back when it's time to add in the sugar and the oatmeal. Another quick tip before we add in our oatmeal. Make sure that when you have all your ingredients in your food processor, that you, just like if you were using a KitchenAid or something like that, you scrape down the sides and the bottom so that everything can be well incorporated. And don't be like me and start spilling shit out, okay? I'm just a klutz. It happens. Okay. Okay, so we're just about done with our topping. This is the color and type of crummy consistency that you're looking for when it comes to the strudel topping. Just let me show you. And this is what you're looking for it to be crumbly like this. When you touch it, it should feel like wet sand. I don't think this bowl is going to be big enough. So let's use our apple bowl. And you can see inside there. So we're going to dump this in. And sometimes you might have stuff in here. Hopefully when you use yours you clean it out. But just take a knife or something small enough that can fit inside and get what's left over. Okay. So we're going to add in a little bit of sugar. 1/4 cup. Probably more like 1/3. But you don't need a lot. And then we have some sifted rolled oats. You don't have to use these. I like these, so I'm using it. Just take your hands and crumble this about. But this is what you should have once you're done with everything. So let's add this to our apples. Alrighty, so this is how our apples are looking at the present moment. Hopefully you can see that steam. I'm just gonna mix this around some more. Oh, this smells so good, you guys. Just wanna make it wet again. Don't nobody want no toasted cinnamon on top of these apples. Okay. And just lay them out again. And we're going to take our topping and sprinkle it on top. This is a perfect dessert. You can have this for breakfast if you like. You can take this to your Thanksgiving dinner party if you want. And this way you won't have to make any pie crusts. I'm just going to push that apple down. You want to cover every morsel of apple until all you see is the crumb top. I'm gonna go over it and press this down. Let me make it closer. And we're gonna pop this baby in the oven for about a half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour. You want the apples to soften up at the bottom, and you want this to become a golden, buttery, crispy brown. Alrighty folks, so this is how we're looking after we've come out of the oven. I've had this out of the oven for a few hours now. So yeah, nice and crusty and golden brown. So let me just cut into this before I get a chance to, and anybody else does. So this is the crumbly sugar crust, and these are the apples underneath. And maybe I'll have some for breakfast tomorrow, but this is how it should look. And then you have like the golden gooiness from the sugar and the cinnamon and all of that mixed with the apples coming up from off of the crust. So try it out. Let me know. So there you have it. Try it out. Let me know how it goes for you. All the links in the description. Send me emails for a topic and food suggestions for cooking or mukbang or both. You can always follow me on, why do I want to keep saying Twitter? You can always follow me on Instagram and Rumble. Both of those links are in the description. Always look at the first comment to see any videos that you may have missed. And I will catch you guys in the next one. So until then,